Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. Hope you're having a great day. Today we are at Morgan Buick GMC here in Shreveport, Louisiana, and we're going to take a look at the refreshed 2024 version of the Buick Encore GX and talk about why this is a Cadillac in disguise. For years, Buick has really kind of received a bad rap for many reasons. People think of it as just being your grandma's vehicle, nothing really special or fancy, but to be honest, there's a lot more going on here than ever before. The new 19-inch one-piece screen that is in the interior has an 8-inch instrument cluster for the driver and an 11-inch infotainment screen. If I showed you that and didn't tell you what it was, you might think it was in a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW. I have actually shown that to people, and that has been the case. And beyond the issues of thinking, oh, that's just an old person's vehicle, another area where people have really kind of looked down on these Buicks is the fact that you have the 3-cylinder engine under the hood. I'm going to give you more details about that in just a little bit. But one thing that's very interesting, somebody told me this at the dealership, you never see these Buicks in the service lane. The only time you do is when they're in for an oil change because they just don't have problems. It doesn't mean they can't, but it's very rare. And when he said that, I got to thinking about it and said, you know what? He's right. So let's take a look at what has changed and what you can expect to find if this is something you may consider buying for the 2024 model year. The biggest and most significant changes will be found here on the front end, as you're going to have the new Tri-Shield logo that really brings a look of sophistication and a modern look to the Buick brand. You'll also find the forward-leaning front end. Again, a nice look. Looks a little bit more modern than what we've seen in the past with the Encore GX. This is the preferred trim level, by the way. And everything comes to a crescendo here. You're going to have the new modern-looking updated front grille. We're going to have a combination of the gloss black and the chrome trim around that. This seems to be tastefully done, maybe not too much chrome. But the biggest change here that I think brings a big difference, in fact, let's look from this particular angle, will be the new winged headlights, LED headlights, a very nice modern look. And as we work our way around the vehicle, you also have the new 18 and 19-inch wheels. In this particular case, we have the 18-inch version. And a lot is going to remain the same from the previous years of the Encore GX. You'll still see the same roof line and all that stuff. Just a refresh, like I say, this is not a full redesign, but enough of a change to where I think it really makes a big difference here, especially with that virtual cockpit that we're going to take a look at in just a little bit. A little bit of chrome will accent above the windows and work its way here towards the rear window. We have the rear roof spoiler or the tailgate spoiler. And again, we're going to find that new Buick logo back here on the rear. Under the hood is the 1.2-liter 3-cylinder. That's why I said what I said earlier about the fact that you just don't see these Encore GXs with issues. You don't see them coming in with problems with the motor, problems with the transmission. They're very reliable. And that's, for one thing, due to the fact that these are not meant to be hot rods. They're not high-performance SUVs. They're actually meant to save a lot of gas and give you something that's easy to get around in a big city with, or whatever the situation is. Great gas mileage as well, and that's due in part to the fact that you do have 137 horsepower and 162 pounds-feet of torque. Made it to a continuously variable single-speed transmission. We'll get out on the road and see what it's really like to drive in just a little bit. I'll give you my honest assessment. But how about MPGs? You'd expect those to be rather impressive, right? 30 city, 31 highway, 30 combined. And according to Buick, you should use 3.3 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And if you're curious to know about gas tank size, it is 13.2 gallons. It is capless fuel fill. And maybe you're saying to yourself, you know what, I wish there was a little bit more power available than what you get with that 1.2. Well, the good news is that there is the 1.3-liter 3-cylinder. It makes 155 horsepower and 174 pounds-feet of torque. It will still be mated to the same continuously variable single-speed transmission. And while front-wheel drive is standard, all-wheel drive is available across all trim levels. And we'll take a look here into the rear cargo area. You have the cargo cover right here. That is easily removable. You just take these little pieces right here off, and then you can just basically snap it off of the brackets that hold it in up there. And something else that I really like here, and I don't know that I can do this one-handed, but let's find out. Notice where the floor is sitting right there. That's not the only position where you can put this floor. Let's see if we can do this. There's one position right there. You can actually put it back down where it was if you want to. I don't know if I can do that one-handed, but one way or another, that does happen. You saw that. And underneath the floor is a spare tire. Always a win, always a bonus, because you don't have to worry about those pesky tire repair kits, but no spare tire available. And there we go. I was able to get the floor back down into the lower position just because that's kind of hard to do one-handed. What about cargo capacity? 23.5 up to 50.2 cubic feet in cargo capacity. And obviously you can come here and lay the seats flat. I like the fact that they pretty much are flat. They're not at a real steep angle like you're going to get with some vehicles that the Encore GX competes with. And taking a look in through the driver's side rear door into the back seat area, I'm gonna have a good sized bottle holder here. Don't know that I would call that a door bin so much, but really a bottle holder. I guess you could use it as a door bin if so desired. And we'll take a look here into the interior. Quite a bit of space for driver and passengers. Rear seat pockets here. Dare I call those map pockets anymore? Who actually uses a folding map or a paper map of any sort in this day and age? I don't think anybody does. Now, you don't have rear air conditioning vents here. In an interior of this size, I don't know that that's that big of a deal. We survived for many decades without rear air conditioning vents in interiors that were far larger than this, but you will find a couple of USB options down there. Now, this isn't the highest trim level. In fact, it's the base trim level, the preferred trim level, so you're not going to find a sunroof here. For me, if I was buying a vehicle, that would be my preference, because if you open a sunroof a few times, eventually the gasket wears out and it's going to leak. I'll pass. And we'll take our first look into the front seat area, at least an in-depth look. We're going to notice the black interior along with the white contrast stitching, a little bit larger door bin here. Now, on this base trim level, you will find manually adjustable driver and passenger seats, but they are adjustable. And as you look around, you'll see some nice trim here as far as the overall look of the dashboard, the way everything is shaped. And from right here, I hope you can see it. Here is that virtual cockpit. We're going to light that up in just a few seconds. But I wanted to show you how it's curved. Notice how this area angles out. Everything is angled towards the driver, so very driver-focused vehicle. That's a benefit. Convenience-wise, we've got the nice large glove box right there. And we do have single zone climate control here, but again, lower trim levels. But we still have connectivity in the way of a couple of USB options and the 12-volt power outlet. Also, you've got some features here. You can turn the auto stop start feature off. If you want to attempt a front wheel drive burnout, you can turn traction control off, and a conventional style shifter. So if you're not a fan of the push button shifters, guess what? That's not here. That's good. Power parking brake. We also have the nice cup holders here, a little bit of gloss black and chrome just to kind of give it that luxurious look and feel. Again, this is a Cadillac in disguise. That's what we're talking about in today's video. And a little bit more space in front of the center console, but there's still quite a bit of space within. Now, that might look like there's not much space in there, but guess what? The tray is removable, plenty of space down there. You can leave that tray in there depending on your situation. And as far as the driver's side door, well, obviously we're going to have a few more buttons and options here. You're going to have the door bin right there that is nice and large. You control your side view mirrors, your power side view mirrors, all that good stuff is there. But let's hit the button right here. We're going to start our first look at the Virtual Cockpit. A very nice modern look. Like I said before, a total of 19 inches of screen, 8 for the digital instrument cluster for the driver's display, and 11 inches over here with the instrument, or excuse me, the center screen, the touch screen. That makes a big difference. Very modern looking. I like the way everything looks. Look like we might need to put a little air in one of the tires maybe, but we'll deal with that in just a little bit. But you can see the nice modern look with the digital instrument cluster. And here are your features as far as the steering wheel mounted controls go. That's always a good thing. You can go through a lot of different features and see a lot of different information depending on what you want to do. But the thing I like here is how simplistic this 11-inch portion of the screen is to use. You can hit the home button right there and go home. There's not too much here. You do have wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. You can leave the USB cord at home. Obviously here we don't have wireless charging, so maybe you wouldn't leave it at home, but you can connect to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto without the use of that cable, so that's a good thing. Very simplistic, easy to use. We can pair our phone very easily. In fact, my phone is already paired. That definitely makes a difference. And you'll notice where my hand is right here. Just kind of automatically goes up there because that makes it a lot easier to use the screen. Just kind of a little place, almost a little table of sorts, a little resting place for your hand, so it makes it easier to gain access to everything that is up here. I really like that. Very easy to use. We've got our contacts we can go into right there, the keypad. You can see how everything works. Very simple, very simplistic, very easy to walk through the process. The screen basically does that for you. And again, here on this particular trim level, we're just going to have the singular rear camera, but it is a nice clear view. You can have your trajectory lines turned on, or you can turn those off if you so desire. But the thing that I really want to focus on here is what I told you about earlier. Let's find out what it's like to drive this model with that 1.2-liter 3-cylinder under the hood. Okay, we're on the road for our test drive, and let's see if we can get this person to move. Sorry about that. Somebody was not paying attention and they saw the imaginary yield sign right there. As you notice, there's no yield sign. Well, the good thing is that I can easily get around this person. I am easing into the gas pedal right here. Already doing over 50 miles an hour. Getting down the road with absolutely no trouble. Going uphill, didn't struggle at all. One thing about driving, just so you know, especially with a turbocharged motor, when it's a smaller motor, if it's just a single turbo, just ease into the gas and you'll be surprised at how much more responsive it is compared to if you floor it in a lot of cases. That's definitely the case here. I haven't even been to half throttle and I've been up to 70, I think 73 miles per hour earlier before I turned the camera on. You really need to drive one of these models, and even with the lesser powered of the two engine options that are available here, you would likely be surprised at how well this 1.2-liter gets the Encore GX down the road. No problem at all. If I was going on a trip out of town, I would not be concerned with keeping up with traffic, merging into fast-moving traffic, anything like that. And you know, I review these vehicles, multiple cars every day, multiple vehicles every day with different horsepower ratings. You would think that 137 horsepower isn't enough. Believe me, it is. So let's move on from that. One of the big advantages here that makes this very much like a Cadillac is the fact that the ride quality is really good. It's very comfortable, very smooth. Again, going back to the scenario of a long road trip, a long drive, it's not going to wear you out. You're going to get to your destination and feel nice and rested. You know, maybe not rested, that may be the wrong way to put it, but you're not going to be absolutely wiped out. You're still going to have energy left. You're going to be in good shape, and you can keep doing what you need to do for the rest of the day depending on what your situation is. So a very enjoyable vehicle to drive, obviously with the latest in technology here with this virtual cockpit from Buick. It really gives you an idea of some of the things we may see in the future with other vehicles. Very curious to know about that. But overall, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. You do have all of the safety features here that you would expect to have, including blind spot monitoring built into those side view mirrors. And keep in mind, this vehicle starts at a little over $26,000. No problem at all as far as being able to afford it. You should be in good shape. Yeah, they can get up over 30, I think maybe around 34,000 if you go with the highest trim level and option it out enough, but that's still not bad, especially in this day and age. I'll tell you what, for the right person, this would definitely make a very nice vehicle. And that is a quick look at the 2024 Buick Encore GX Preferred, the Cadillac in disguise. A lot going on here. I can't wait for Morgan Buick GMC to get in some higher trim levels so I can show you what the additional features and options are on these models. I always try and show every available trim level on any vehicle we feature here on the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel so you can have an easier time learning about vehicles or maybe making a decision on what you may wish to purchase or just know more about. So I want to say a special thanks to my friends at Morgan Buick GMC for loaning me this Encore GX for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and would like to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.